Hello, this is Midday News. Thanks for joining us. The Department of Education is aware of an incident involving 27 grade 10 students from Dieback Grammar School in West New Britain Province who were unable to sit for their first day of the national examination due to non-payment of school fees. Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra said the department is being informed of the situation and is working closely with the West New Britain Provincial Education Office and the school to ensure the affected students are given the opportunity to complete their examinations. He explained that Dieback Grammar School is a private institution and operates under its own administrative and financial policies, separate from government-run schools. Despite this, Dr. Kombra emphasized that no child should be denied the right to education or participating in national assessments due to circumstances beyond their control. Education is a right for every child in Papua New Guinea, whether in the public or private system. 17 houses at Horse Camp in Mosby South Electorate were burnt down 3 weeks ago after an Angan man was murdered by a man from Gulf. In response, Commander of the National Capital District and Central, Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Benjamin Turi, led a team of police units who visited the area early yesterday morning. The Acting Assistant Commissioner of NCD and Central, Benjamin Turi, and his officers were at the scene, confirmed that about 17 houses were burnt to ashes 3 weeks ago after an Angan man was murdered by a man from Gulf. Commander Turi said they discovered that the Angans chased the Gulf people out of their houses and retrieved power from one of the houses and connected it to their morning house at Sabama. Turi said burning down houses and then trying to claim the land is not right and is unlawful. The police will investigate the matter and have those who burned down the houses arrested and charged. He said the owners of the houses must work closely with Badili police and provide statements so they can fast-track the case. The police will patrol the area to ensure that those who left their houses return and those who are not residents must leave the area. Commander Turi said the murder suspect had been arrested and is now in police custody. PNG Forest Authority has called on landowners throughout the country to partner with the authority and plant more trees under the government's Pioneer Ground Planim DY program. PNG NFA Managing Director John Musoro made the call when addressing foresters, landowners and the community at the launch of the Bulolo Wow New Forestry Plantation Extension Program on Thursday, October 1st. The launch concluded PNG FA's 50th Independence Anniversary celebrations. 12,500 hectares of tree have been planted and sustained at the Bulolo Wow Forestry Plantation, which are then harvested by the PNG Forest Products, who are processing and producing plywood, sawn timber, and vinyl products since the gold rush in the 1940s and World War II. PNG NFA is looking at a target of 800,000 hectares of land to plant trees. It commended the landowners of Bulolo and Watut for agreeing to participate in the government forestry reforestation program. The program will promote tree planting and reforestation and carbon trade, as PNG forests are globally known to be the last tracts of pristine rainforest in the world. In news overseas, the state government is facing fresh questions over its bailout of an embattled coal mine critical to WA's energy system. Amid revelations, taxpayer money is being shipped overseas. Griffin Coal has been in receivership since 2022 after collapsing under the weight of mounting losses and more than $1 billion of debt. It can now be revealed that taxpayer funds intended to keep the mine afloat are partly used to pay its foreign land owners.
Of all the problems looming over WA's energy landscape, few cast a longer shadow than Griffin Coal. The historic company is one of only 2 coal mines in Western Australia, where it supplies fuel for some of the state's most important industrial players. Union official and former coal miner Greg Busson knows Griffin's importance well.
So we're a consistent source of power, and if we had to drop that out of the system, I don't know where it'd be currently.
But times are tough at Griffin, which has been on life support since its lenders tipped the miner into receivership 3 years ago. Providing the lifeline to the company is the WA government, which agreed to keep Griffin going until June 2026. More than $300 million of taxpayers' money will be spent subsidising Griffin's production. The state has previously said the cash would not be used to repay Griffin's lenders, but answers to questions in state parliament tell a different story, with the government acknowledging it had spent almost $15 million paying secured creditors.
The secured creditors of Griffin are going to receive about $30 million out of the $308 million that taxpayers are pouring into the black hole that is Griffin Coal.
Griffin is still one of WA's most critical energy assets, supplying the coal that's used to produce about 15% of the power in the state's main grid. Its intractable problems put the state in a bind, struggling to live with the miner and its lenders, and seemingly unable to live without them.
It is the price of keeping lights on and making sure that we've got consistent, good quality, and it's fit for purpose power, currently baseload power.
The state opposition says the government needs to come clean.
When Griffin Coal continues to lose $7 million a month and it is propped up by the taxpayer, I don't think the investors should be receiving a dividend, but they are.
The government declined to answer questions about the debt repayments, but insisted it is the receiver and not the state that is responsible for distributing payments between creditors.
2 detected dogs have joined WA's workforce to help conservationists in the fight against the devastating plant disease Dieback. The management of Dieback has challenged authorities, but it's hoped the furry recruits will make detention far more efficient.
Play tough, throw. Fine. It's man's best friend lending a paw. Kelly and Milo are the first detector dogs to be permanently based in WA to improve the state's management of Dieback.
Parts of the Dieback management puzzle that have been really challenging up to now, and the dogs can come and fill in that puzzle piece to help us get a better strategy overall.
The pair of 14-month-old English Springer Spaniels are trained to sniff out the smallest scent of the disease before signs of infection are visible to conservationists. A trick experts say is a game changer.
We hope that this program would accelerate the identification of dieback samples, making it cheaper and more accessible and easier to rapidly clear areas.
Dubbed by environmentalists as the biological bulldozer, Dieback has wreaked havoc on the country's native vegetation for more than 50 years by attacking and rotting plants at the roots. It's wiped out up to 90% of plant species in some areas and affects some of WA's most well-known species like Proteaceae, which includes Banksias and Hakeas. Rising temperatures making the disease harder to manage.
So we've had a lot of drought, making it really hard to read those landscapes, and the dogs are better able to read those landscapes, and they can also do it immediately in the field.
Making dieback detection possible in minutes instead of weeks.
Dieback is still our #1 threat in WA because it just impacts so many species over such a large area.
The DBCA secured $1.3 million in grant funding from the Commonwealth's Saving Native Species program for the project, which will see the dogs travel across WA over the next 6 months, sniffing out any sign of dieback to help authorities manage the spread of the disease. And with an average career of 10 years, these clever canines will be making their mark.
The state government says it's one step closer to opening its multi-billion-dollar metro tunnel project, now that construction is finished at the new town hall station. Built 5 stories under the city's CBD, the government hopes to open the new train line in the next few months, nearly a year ahead of schedule.
Once inside, you go down, down, and down.
At its deepest point, 33 metres.
A grand design in the heart of Melbourne. 44 escalators, 12 lifts, and 2 platforms at Town Hall Station, the centrepiece of the new metro tunnel.
Twin 9-kilometre tunnels that are going to transform the way people move around this great and growing city and state.
An end-of-year opening is still on track, but the government still hasn't locked in a date, and part of the system is still under construction. But once online, the new metro tunnel will service 5 new stations and connect the Sunbury line to the Cranbourne-Pakenham line, taking these services out of the city loop.
That delivers and enables a turn-up-and-go service down that corridor, but what does it also do? It frees up capacity in the city loop so that we can continue to add more services across the rest of our rail network.
This $13.5 billion project is being delivered ahead of schedule, but it's blown its original budget by more than $2 billion. Now, the government says it's doing extensive tests to make sure there are no further surprises. The new trains rely on advanced signalling technology that automatically adjusts their speed and distance from other services.
We've run about 265,000 kilometres in the tunnel to date, and that's all about ironing out the bugs in the system, making sure the trains stop at the doors.
To help passengers move between existing lines and the new services, an underground tunnel will connect the new platforms to Flinders Street Station.
And we wanted to make sure that in the design of these new stations, they looked to the future of how these stations would be used by our city and state.
It's one stop the Premier hopes will keep the city moving.
And that ends the Midday News. Do join us at 6 tonight for the main bulletin. Bye for now.